Hi guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, my name is Carmen. Welcome. So what exactly is the Fibonacci sequence, also known as the golden ratio? So it's basically a sequence of numbers where there is a pattern of numbers that progressively get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we see this a lot in nature. So this sequence appears whenever we see something starting out very small and gradually getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So for instance, when you look at a spiral starts out very small and it starts to progressively get bigger and bigger and bigger. You can also see this pattern when you look at hurricanes, when you look at a seashell. So if you look at a seashell, the seashell starts out very, very small, but it progressively and successively gets larger and larger and larger. And so you're probably thinking, well, how does the Fibonacci sequence apply to my life and why can it help me? Well, it can help you because whenever we see something becoming bigger and becoming greater in size and amplifying and multiplying in nature, the Fibonacci sequence is usually behind this, and the Fibonacci ratio is usually the reason why we see this happening in nature. Since we see it happening in nature, it only makes sense that if we apply it to your life, that your life will become more successful, will start to grow and multiply and amplify the way we see it happening in nature. So a lot of successful people in the financial industries that work in the stock market have used this Fibonacci sequence in order to become very wealthy and in order to become very successful at buying stocks in the stock market. So this is a secret formula that I have created, combining both numerology with the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio. So anything in the world that you want, anything that your heart desires, you can manifest it and you can have it very, very easily using the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio. And I'm going to show you how to do that today in this video. But before we do that, we need to find out what your life path number is in numerology. The life path number is the most important number in your numerology chart because it determines your main purpose in life and the main reason you were born. So I'm just really quickly going to go over how to get your life path number. If you want a more detailed explanation, you can check out the video that I did on how to calculate your core numerological birth chart. I'll put a link to that video below. But basically all you do is you just add all of the numbers together in your birth date until you get a single digit. So in this situation, December is represented by 12, so we add 1 and 2 together and we get 3. We add the 1 and the 4 together to get a 5, and then we add all the numbers together in 1995, and that gives us a 24. When we add 24 together, we get a 6. So then we're just going to take all 3 of the numbers that we got from the month, the day, and the year, and we're going to add those all together, and when we do that, we get a 5. And so this person's life path number is a 5. And so you keep adding the numbers together until you get a single digit, except if you get a master number. So if you get an 11, a 22, or a 33, you don't add those 2 digits together because those are master numbers. But for all other numbers, you keep adding them together until you get a single digit. So after you have calculated your life path number, then you can use the golden ratio. And the way we get the golden ratio is by using the Fibonacci sequence. The way you get each number is you just add each number to the number that is in back of it. So when you add 2 to the number in back of it, which is 1, you get 3. When you add 3 to the number in back, which is 2, you get a 5. When you add 5 to the number in back of it, which is 3, you get an 8. And then it just keeps going and going and going. And so as you can see, the Fibonacci sequence is just a pattern of numbers where the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger. So to get the golden ratio, we take each number and we just divide it by the number that's in back of it. And so as you can see, when we take 5 and divide it by the number in back of it, which is 3, we get 1.6. When we take 8 and divide it by the number in back of it, which is 5, we get a 1.6. And when we take 13 and divide it by the number in back of it, which is an 8, we also get a 1.6. So as you can see, when you divide each of these numbers by the number in back of it, you get the same number, which is 1.618, which is also known as the golden ratio. And in Greek, this number is also known as pi. So now we're going to combine numerology with the golden ratio. So you take your life path number, whatever that is, and you figure out what it is that you want to manifest. What is it that you desire and that you are trying to bring into your life? So let's say that you're a life path number 7 and you're single and your dream is to get married and to have a marriage that will lead to having children and a family. Well, in numerology, family and children are represented by the number 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this person's life path number, which is 7, and we're going to multiply it by the golden ratio, 1.618. And the number we get is 11.326. And then we're going to do the same thing to the number that is represented by family and children. So 6 in numerology is the number that represents family and children. So we're going to take that and multiply it by the same number, 1.618. And then we get 9.708. So once we do that, we're going to add these two numbers together. So we're going to add 11.326 and 9.708 together. And the number we get is 21. Now 21 is a whole number, but sometimes when you're adding these two numbers together, you're not going to get a whole number. So in that situation, you would just round the number up. So like if you got 21.78, well, that would round to 22 because the 7 is greater than a 5. So 21.78 would round up to a 22. So that's what you would do if you don't get a whole number. So, but in this situation, we got a 21. And so we're going to add the 2 and the 1 together to get a 3 because we want to add these numbers together until we get a single digit. So 2 plus 1 is going to give us 3. And 3 is the solution to your manifestation. So let me explain exactly what this means. So what this means is that this person who is a life path 7, in order for them to manifest their dream of having a family and children, they need to utilize the energy of the number 3, and they need to do whatever the number 3 encompasses. So 3 in numerology represents socializing, and it represents communicating with other people and becoming more outgoing and becoming more joyful. And this makes a lot of sense because 7s typically are very introspective and they typically are not very outgoing. Often they like to stay at home, they like to read, they like to do things that challenge their mind. They're very introverted usually. So it makes sense that an introverted number 7 who is not the most social person in the world, if they want to get married and start a family, they need to put themselves out there more and they need to socialize more with other people. So for this person, the solution to manifest the dream that they want is not to encompass the energy of the 6. The way they do it is they have to embrace the energy of the number 3 and totally surround themselves in their life by all things represented by the number 3. And then their manifestation will come to fruition and will come to realization. So what this person would do is they would do everything that is represented by the 3, which is getting out of the house more, putting themselves out there more, communicating with people. It's also the number of joy and happiness. If they become more social and more communicative with people and start to do things that bring them joy and happiness, then they will manifest a relationship most likely that will lead to marriage, and then that will lead to a family and having children. There's also other things that they can do as well to embrace the 3 energy. So they can surround themselves by 3s. They can write the number 3 and have it placed all over their house so they always see the number 3 wherever they are. They can change the energy of the home to a 3 energy. So whatever address they have, like let's say their address is 501, which when you add that together, it equals a 6. But they don't want the energy of the 6 to be their address for their house. They want it to be a 3. So what they can do is they can write down a number 6 and then tape it to the door, and that will give the home the energy of a 3. Because when you add 6 and 6 together, you get 12, and 1 plus 2 and 12 equals 3. So that will change the energy of the home to a 3 energy. So that will help them to become more like a 3. It will help them to become more social and more outgoing and more joyful. So visualization is a very powerful manifestation technique, and what this person could do is they could visualize themselves getting married and having children and having a family, and they could do it 3 times a day. If they were to do it 3 times a day, that would make it more powerful. So if you want to look up the number that corresponds to what it is that you desire and that you are trying to manifest, I will put the meanings of the individual numbers in numerology up at the back of this. So I'm going to put them at the back of all of these examples, but I want to give you guys a few more examples of how exactly to use this first. And one of these examples is regarding manifesting wealth and abundance. So in this example, we have a life path number 5, and the life path number 5 wants a partner, and they want to be in a relationship with somebody else. They want to kind of like settle down. So in numerology, relationships with other people and partnerships are represented by the 2. So we're going to do the same thing that we did in the other example. So multiply 5 and 2 by 1.618, and then take the product of these two and add them together. And when we add them together, we get an 11.3, which is not a whole number. But 11.3 rounds down to an 11. And so we have to add the 2 ones together because we have to keep adding the numbers together until we get a final digit. And the final digit is 2 in this case. So what this person needs to do to get a relationship is they need to embrace the energy of the number 2. And so this makes sense because 5s tend to really want to have their freedom, and they don't want to commit usually to just one person. So often they will date multiple people. And, you know, if this person wants to find a relationship with just another person, they need to give up some of their freedom. They need to be more cooperative, and they need to be more of a team player and just focused on one other person. They need to become more loving and more giving of their time, and more committed and more focused on just one other person than playing the field with multiple people. Because that's what the 2 represents. It represents commitment and cooperation and being in harmony with just one other person. So in addition to doing all the things represented by the 2, they can also put 2s all over the house so that they have this energy around them and they're able to see it all the time. They can change the energy of the house to a number 2. They can try to visualize what they want, what they're trying to manifest 2 times a day. That will make it very powerful as well. Okay, now I'm going to show you the next example. This one is a person that wants to manifest wealth and money. So this person's life path number is a master number 11, and they want wealth and they want abundance. And wealth and abundance in numerology is represented by number 8. So we're going to do the same thing that we did before, same equation, you know, multiplying these numbers by 1.618 and then adding that together. And then the final number that we get once we do all of that is a number 4. So 4 in numerology, like number 2, also represents commitment. As you can see, 2 is a multiple of 4. So, you know, they both are very similar in that way. They're both very committed numbers. So it represents commitment, it represents hard work, it represents stability, and it also represents drive and dedication and hard work. So if this life path number 11 wants to manifest wealth and prosperity, then whatever it is that they are passionate about and whatever their passion is, they need to become more driven about their passion and they need to become more committed to it. So if they put in the hard work and they put in the dedication and the drive into whatever it is that they're passionate about, they will be able to manifest wealth and prosperity very easily. And if it's something that they're passionate about, they probably won't even feel like this is hard work because they really enjoy doing it. So they just need to be more driven and committed to what it is that they are passionate about. Also surrounding themselves with the energy of the number 4. So like we did with the other numbers, putting 4s all over the house. visualizing the wealth and abundance that they want 4 times a day, changing the energy of the house address to the energy of the number 4. So these are all things that the 11 can do if they want to manifest wealth and prosperity. So I'm now putting up the meanings of all of the individual numbers so that you can find the corresponding number to what it is you desire and are trying to manifest. What are you planning to manifest using this code and using this secret formula? What are you planning to do with it? Let me know in the comments below. And then let me know after you have used it and you have manifested something amazing in your life. Then after that, let me know in the comments below what you were able to manifest using this method. And if you want to check out my services, I will leave a link to that information below. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And I would love to have you subscribe and follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video today. I am sending you light and love. Take care.